what's up guys? It's the 30th of November today. So tomorrow we officially start the countdown to Christmas. I still can't believe I'm saying that. We officially start the countdown to Christmas tomorrow. Like, this year has just been... It feels like this year has gone so incredibly quick. And obviously it feels like it's been a hectic year. But it's also been... I mean, it's been a good year this year. There has been a lot of good things that have happened this year, and I think, we've had, it's been I guess it may be, to a certain extent, it's also been a tough year, but it's not been as tough as last year was. I think we needed, this year, we really needed this year to be a good year, and it really has been a good year. This year I would go as far to say it has been a good year this year. We've had a lot of good moments. A lot of good times as a family this year. It's just crazy to think that it feels like this year has gone so quick. Like, we say that every year, though, don't we? We always say, by the time we get to this point every year, we're like, this year's gone quick. It feels like we only literally took all of the Christmas trees and Christmas decorations down 5 minutes ago, and now it's time to start putting them all back up again. Like, it's just crazy. It's like, what's the point in actually taking the Christmas decorations and everything down in the new year, because the year goes so quick, so before you know it, it's time to actually get them out and start putting them back up again. So it's like, what's the point in actually taking them down and putting them away? It feels like there's no point in actually doing that, because as the year goes so quick, before you know it, it's time to put them back, time to actually get the Christmas decorations out and start putting them back up again. Obviously we're doing ours tomorrow. We're putting our decorations up and our Christmas tree up tomorrow. Getting all that sorted out. My nan is doing hers next week. So my mum will go over and help her with that, because obviously my granddad used to go over and help her with that. But he used to help with that, not go over and help her with that. He used to help her with that, but since he passed away last year, my mum does it now. So this video, today is mainly to talk about the effects of smoking. Now, personally, I've seen firsthand the damage that smoking can do to a person's health. Which is what has put me off smoking. I vowed never to drink a drop of alcohol, never to touch a cigarette, because I've seen the damage they can do. Firsthand, I've seen the damage they can do. When I think about my granddad and the fact that he'd been smoking for so many years, he'd obviously been smoking since he was a teenager, and the damage that had done to his lungs was, unbelievable. And we begged him, we were all begging him to give up smoking, but he just wouldn't do it. I think to be honest, I think it would have been really hard for him to have to kind of give up smoking, because, he'd been smoking for so many years, since he was a teenager. It was never going to be that kind of easy and straightforward for him to give up smoking. But, seeing how he was before he died, it was kind of heartbreaking. Like, he couldn't walk. He could only literally walk, a few feet without getting, before he got out of breath. It literally had gotten to the point where he couldn't even hardly walk from one room to the other without getting out of breath. The illness that he had was a smoking-related illness. Not that he would ever accept that, no matter how many times people tried to tell him that it was a smoking-related illness, he just wouldn't have it, because he was so stubborn. It was, like, the amount of tobacco that he used to go through within a space of about a week was just unbelievable. But that was because of how many times he was smoking a day. I don't even know how many cigarettes he actually smoked in one day. I mean, maybe he knew. I mean, it's like, I mean, he had diabetes as well, which is something we didn't even know about. As he'd never told us that. It wasn't until about 4 or 5 months, well, about 3 or 4 months after he died, my mum and my nan were kind of clearing the drawers out and everything, and they found a doctor's note, like a doctor's letter, and it said he had diabetes, and it said that he had diabetes, and obviously it was like, why did he never tell us that? Why did he never tell us that he had diabetes? It's something that he probably should have told us. He never ever told us that, I mean, it's just, I mean, I think obviously, I was thinking to myself, like, had he given up smoking, would he still be here now? Maybe, that's why a big part why he died is his lungs were so badly damaged. I mean, obviously, it was sad seeing him seeing him like the way that he was, and that was all that, and like, a lot of it was down to the smoking. The smoking was a big part of the reason he was in the state he was in, and it was a big part of the reason he couldn't do a lot of the things he used to be able to do. It was that bad. And you can't help but feel sorry for it was sad seeing him like that, I don't know what else to say, like, I mean, there's not a day that goes by where, we don't think about him, or, we don't talk about him, or we don't miss him, because we miss him every day. We all wish that he was still here with us. We all, like, this year more than ever has made us miss him even more. It's obviously since my sister had her baby in September, since baby Freya arrived, I've been thinking to myself, my granddad would have been so happy at being a great granddad, like, he would have been over the moon at that. And it is sad that, Freya never got to meet him, and never got to kind of, and he never got to meet her, he died just over a year before she was born. It's just, it's hard, like, even obviously as my nan passed away not last year, the year before as well, my dad's mum, she would have been at Great Nan this year, and again, didn't get to kind of experience that, didn't get to kind of meet her new great grandchild. And she was actually born about a week, I think it was, after her birth, what would have been her 100th birthday. She would have been 100 this year, on the 16th of September. And the baby Freya was born on the 23rd, so about, exactly a week after my nan's birthday, so not that funny, that, really. But yeah, I mean, we miss my granddad like hole in the head, I mean, he was a pain in the arse at times, he was a pain in the arse at times, but we loved him for that. We loved him for being, for the fact that he was a pain in the arse. I don't think we'd have had him any other way, or we'd have wanted him to be out, any other way, as he was a pain in the arse, and that's what we loved him for. I still remember the amount of times my nan and my granddad ended up having these kind of big rows, and my nan would tell my granddad to fuck off out the house and everything if she didn't want, fuck off out the door. It was hilarious. They were like Laurel and Hardy most of the time, those two. But you can really see that, my nan's kind of found it hard since he passed away. I mean, they were together for 40 years. So of course it was going to be hard for her to kind of, get used to him not being around. And I think in a way she still hasn't really gotten used to that, and I don't think any of us have. I don't think any of us have really kind of gotten used to him not being around. For us, it's something that we still find very hard. I think for months, after he passed away, I think we all kept expecting him to walk through the front door and say that it had been a massive joke. Um, so that's what we wanted to believe. I remember the day after he passed away, it was so strange because we woke up like that was he passed away on the Wednesday night about about 9 o'clock. And we went to bed we went to bed that night and we woke up the next morning. And I remember waking up and I remember kind of hoping that it had been just some kind of horrible dream and that it wasn't real. But then that it kind of, the reality kind of hit me, it kind of made me realise actually, it is real. It is real, it is what it is. It was so unbelievable. Like, I don't know what else to say. That Wednesday when he passed away, I had college that day. And obviously they turned off they turned him off, like, his life support on the Tuesday. And he said that he could go at any time. And I wasn't gonna go in on the Wednesday. I was gonna stay at home. But my mum had sort of advised me to go into college that day if she thought it might be a good distraction. But I remember I was on it, and I said to her that morning, I said, I'll take my phone with me, I'll leave my phone on, I'll hit my phone on, so if you need to get hold of me, you can do that. And I was on edge all day, because I was expecting her to call me whilst I was at college to tell me that he'd passed away. That's what I feared was going to happen. But thankfully it didn't. Obviously I got back and I actually said that to my mum. I said, I've been on edge all day thinking you were going to call me, whilst I was at college to tell me that he'd gone. And she was like, no, he's still fine, he's still holding on at the moment. My nan and my aunt had gone up to be with him. They were at the hospital up until about, and my mum phoned them about 4:30. And my nan said that he was he was struggling to breathe. And we knew then that it wasn't going to be that long before he passed away. Because normally when it gets to that point, it's not going to be too long before they go. And my sister had obviously just, she was meant to be going out that night. She didn't go out. But she didn't want to be out, obviously when she got the call and everything. So she was at home with us that night. Now what was funny that day was that my nan's cat, Misty, had been out all day since around 6 o'clock that morning and she hadn't come back in. Now when it was about 9 o'clock that my nan phoned us and we thought that she was phoning us to tell us that the cat had come back. But of course, it was the phone call to let us know that he'd passed away, and it just it was so out of the blue. The thing is, but the hardest thing about it was that it was something that we knew was gonna happen, but we didn't know when. We knew it, but it was hard. We knew he was gonna go down at some point, but we just didn't know when. Seeing him obviously I didn't see him in the hospital because I can't stand hospitals at the best of times, and I think it would have been hard for me, really hard for me to kind of deal with seeing him like that. I don't think I really would have wanted to see him like that either, to be honest. And I would have I would have been able to I would prefer to remember him how he was before he collapsed. I would have wanted my last memory of him to have been of him laying in the hospital bed with all those tubes and wires and everything sticking out of him. It's just, Like, it was so hard for us because there was like, you know, that 3 weeks or so that he was in the hospital, there was nothing we could do. You know, like the doctor, if we had to help, like rely on the doctors and nurses to do whatever they could to, you know, to try and get him better. You know, it was when it first happened, we kind of visioned that he was going to be in hospital for at least a couple of months because he was going to need a lot of recuperation and everything, and probably a lot of physiotherapy after after the incident. But we'd not. I mean, like we'd not visioned it going the way going the way it went. We'd not. You know, we didn't think it was gonna go like we didn't think it was gonna go the way it did. You know, um, it was just so surreal. Like, why was this happening to us? Like, what, you know? I think that's how it felt. It was like, why is this happening to us? You know, what have we done to deserve this? And it was just, you know, I mean, it must have been hard for my nan as well. She was seeing all these people being moved out of the intensive care unit, but my dad wasn't moved. It wasn't being moved. You know, this has been like the whole time he was in the hospital. He was never well enough to move out of the intensive care unit. He was in intensive care the whole time, and you know, it was hard for us. And there was nothing we could do. You know, I think it must have been hard for him because it was like the last thing the last thing he would have been able to remember was going to bed the night, but on the Saturday night he probably wouldn't have been able to remember anything that kind of happened after that. But I think, you know, I can't fault the doctors and nurses, you know, who helped him. You know, they did everything they could. You know, they really did their best, and it was the same with the paramedics from the London Ambulance Service as well. They did everything they could to save him. You know, they were brilliant, obviously doing the CPR and everything, trying to save him, trying to get him better. You know, and you know, I'll always be so grateful to everything that they did, to everything that the doctors and nurses at the Royal London Hospital did for him in the 3.5 weeks that he was in intensive care. You know, I know they did everything they possibly could to try to make things better for him and try to help him recover, but you know, it was clear that he wasn't going to recover, like he wasn't going to get better, you know. It's just like, thinking about it now, like, even if he had recovered from that cardiac, you know, from that incident, and he was still here now, like, I think even now, it still wouldn't have been, like, he wouldn't have been the same person that he'd been before the incident. Like, he would know, there were so many things that he wouldn't have been able to do. You know, for him, like, he wouldn't have been able to, you know, and it wouldn't have been...
And if you like what we do, we're so close now to 8,000 subscribers. We might have actually...
Oh dear. Oh, I think I've accidentally turned my PS4 on. And, I mean, yeah, it was just unbelievable, you know, that whole time, like, you know, not knowing what was going to happen, you know, hoping that, obviously, hoping that he did get a little bit better. And I don't know what else to say, really. It was just horrible seeing, you know, knowing that there was nothing that we could do. You know, there was nothing we could do to help him get better. I mean, it was just, like, a really hard time for us as a family to have to kind of, you know, deal with all of that. But yeah, 2024, much better year. You know, so many good things have happened this year. And I hope that, I look forward to December, seeing what December brings. It would have actually been my dad's birthday in December 16th. On the 16th of December, he would have been, I think he would have been 73 this year. Yeah, that's right. He would have been 72 or 73 this year. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and I'll see you another one soon. Bye bye.